Hi guys, this is my review for Season 10, Episode 12, Shiva. Just wow, this is an amazing episode. Definitely one of the best two-parters we've had ever. Definitely the best two-parter we've had lately. It was a little slow to get started, but unlike other episodes, this episode actually built to something in the last 10-15 minutes. Were just amazing and just full of emotions and stuff. I am so in love with this episode. So first up in this episode, we get to meet the two deputy directors. I really love NCIS Deputy Director Jerome Craig. He is just awkward and perfect, and we hope he's not evil. I'm kind of excited to spend more time with him because he kind of reminds me a little bit of me. I'm very sorry for your loss. I brought you chocolates. And then later, what is wrong with me? And then there's Mossad Deputy Director Elon Bodnar. I love the idea of his character being like Ziva's nemesis. They've known each other for most of their lives. He's kind of like her adoptive brother, and he's probably maybe a little bit jealous of her. Please, dear God, let this be the finale arc and let it not suck. Ziva storyline all the way. It is interesting in Season 10 to bring in two characters that have been, part of the universe for a while, but have never actually been seen on screen. I think I'm sold on the NCIS Deputy Director, because his scenes with Vance and then Gibbs, have dialogue in them that gives us some background. And the actors are able to give this strong impression that these are guys that have worked together, for a while now. It's just kind of able to give it a bit of depth. However, the evil Mossad Deputy Director, I'm not as sold on him. I'm excited, but I feel like the idea of a pseudo-adoptive brother would have had kind of an impact on Ziva and also on Ari, and we've never heard of him. It kind of makes me want to go back and watch Ari scenes when he's rambling about how much he hates his father and see if he mentions, a brother that wasn't really his son, but he treated as his son instead of his illegitimate future spy son. Wouldn't that would have been an issue, right? That would have given me issues. So I'm not 100% convinced, but I think we can get there in future episodes. I think definitely it has potential. Just a suggestion, bring back a little Ziva, cast a little Alon, and maybe a little Ari, and just, have a little scene for them just to give us some sibling rivalry background. And I also need to know what drove that guy to kill his mentor, besides the whole, murdering your way up the corporate ladder thing. Also in this episode, we tracked our two grieving regulars. Vance is understandably totally wrecked. He tries to help the investigation, but is just in no fit state to be on this case. I love the scenes with Gibbs and Vance. I especially like the one where Vance says that, now he understands Gibbs a little bit better and the choices he's made. And then he basically asked if it was worth it to have gone and killed Pedro Hernandez. Gibbs doesn't answer because there's really no right answer. The main difference, though, when it comes to seeking cowboy vengeance is that Vance has kids and he needs to look after them, and going on a vigilante murder mission might not be the best option. And Ziva has a bit more presence in this episode, including an amazing opening flashback scene featuring a mini Ziva. They really should have used her more. I mean, that's pretty much my only complaint for this episode, but it was a great opening nonetheless. Cody is great, of course, she hits every beat, and unsurprisingly, my favorite scenes of the episode were the ones with her and Tony. The opening scene is great. I love sensitive Tony because he's basically whatever you need, I'm here for you, I brought you schmeal, we're having a sleepover, there's ice cream in the freezer, all that. The scene where he wakes her up wasn't as long as I hoped it would be, but I still loved it. Oh, and why didn't she comment on his apartment? I mean, she's never been there, right? No comment on the tiny Tony twin bed? Really? Also, I was kind of getting some Star Wars vibes from this episode. Maybe it's just on my brain. I have no idea where it's coming from. When Tony says, hey, I live here, and Ziva's like, yeah, you almost died here. I mean, Return of the Jedi, anyone? Han, Luke, meow. And then during that amazing farewell scene when Tony says something in Hebrew, and I had no idea what it was. So I was hoping he would just be like, I love you, and she'd be like, I know. And then just fly off to Israel. Wouldn't that have been amazing? Okay. Yeah, it's too early for any, I love yous, but, it would have been so cool. He actually says you are not alone in Hebrew, which cues up the amazing musical ending. The last few minutes of this episode were just brilliant, and I don't even have time to just fangirl over all of it. It's amazing. So this episode is gonna get 5 out of a possible 5 calf pows. Yeah, you guys always bug me to do 5, so this is gonna be my 5. This isn't my first 5, but you know, damn it, it's getting a 5 because I friggin' love it. I mean, for example, when Alon is like, and whose grandfather are you? And Ducky, without missing a beat, is just like, that depends, who's your grandmother? Like, oh my god, Ducky, you are a god among men. Oh, and the Tifa hug, I loved it. I cheered, it's amazing. I feel like it's like her way of saying like, thank you, because you know, they've kind of been butting heads throughout the episode, but Tony's been like super amazing and super there for her, and it's great. And I almost feel like it had a bit of a bittersweet quality because it is a goodbye, but it almost has a bit of finality to it, like kind of a I might not be coming back kind of goodbye, maybe? Anyway, Ziva's gone to Israel to mourn her father and to also possibly hunt down and murder Alon. Maybe. And you know, I hope they continue to update us on this storyline throughout, you know, the rest of the season. And I, for one, would like to know how Mossad is doing with its director dead and its deputy director on the lam. Or should I say, on the sheep?